Ultimately, it's almost about economic survival, because if you look at the resources we have here, we're very good at mining, we're very good at forestry, we're very good at tourism, we're very good at real estate, but how much growth can we have? We have, if you looked at the statistics that were shown, our population's growing slowly but steadily, but we're in a highly competitive world, and all the money and all the brain power in the rest of the world is going into forms of technology. And I think if we don't engage and we don't take a long-term view of all this, we are going to get left behind. And it's going to be your children and their children who are going to pay the consequences if we don't. If you're a tiny player in anything, whether it's in sports or any form of competition, nobody takes you too seriously. You know, if we're 1/400th of the global technology industry now, which is what that slide showed, then we could double, triple, quadruple our size, and we still wouldn't be considered a significant threat to somebody. So I think that's sort of the low-hanging fruit of growth. We can grab that. Now, when we get to be 5, 6, 7, 10% of something on a global scale, people are going to pay real attention to us, and that's when it's going to get more challenging. But I'd like that challenge. The talent, the workers who fuel these companies are typically people in their 20s and maybe in their 30s who are technologically very competent. They have a very broad range of skills, and they're in great shortage. You know, with the unemployment rate for those kinds of people in British Columbia is close to zero. Not quite, but very close, way below in any other sector that I'm aware of. So you have to say, well, what do they want? And if they tell you, I want to be paid pretty well, which is important, but just as important, they want to live and work in the right environment. But in Vancouver, that means that they've got to be able to walk or cycle or possibly use SkyTrain to get to anything, living and working. They generally don't want cars unless they need them to get out of town. They want access to all the right eating and drinking places. They want to be around people who are like-minded. They want to work crazy hours. And it's a lifestyle. It's a way of being. And it's hard if you've grown up in a much more sort of mechanical production world. You know, somebody of my age grew up with structure and rules, and well, that's gone out the window in most cases. So that's what I think people have to do if they want to grow their companies. They have to address what those people need. I think there's two things. One is that you have to build mixed-use downtown projects that are within about a 5-minute walk of rapid transit. In the Canadian weather, that's a given. And by mixed use, I mean where you can live, where you can work, where you can buy food and drink and entertainment. You're basically building the modern village. And if you think back, part of my background's in planning, and if you think about the industrial towns of Western Europe and the UK where planning was created, well, what were they? They were simply the big employers saying, what do we need to give the people? They need to work here, they need to eat here, we need to build a village, it's next to the factory, we need to get them to and from the factory. It's really no different, except this is now medium to high density in the center of cities where all those amenities exist. I think generally Vancouver's doing very well. They take a lot of criticism for the complexity of their approval process, and it is complex and it is slow. But if you simply look at the results, which is partly credit to the city and partly credit to the very creative developers, I think generally it's going in the right direction. It's just not going fast enough. We have to find a way to do this a lot quicker. So we need more talent, more of the right spaces, more of the right real estate and the infrastructure, including rapid transit.